Hello, Internet people. Here we are again. Really just touching up on a few things. Last episode, starting the first tutorial on the middle voice, felt a little bit cramped. There were just so many things that felt important for getting starting off. So, really just want to address some of that in, moving forward, but still having a little bit of review on that kind of thing. We talked about mainly breathing, stretching out, massaging. It feels stupid, it feels weird, but yeah, take it a second, warm up your face, warm up your neck, your throat, your chest, your stomach, all that, very important. Another big thing that got glossed over that really shouldn't are support muscles. We talked very briefly about it, but the main thing is here that support muscles are the muscles around your diaphragm, around your lungs, right? So it's a lot right in the center of your torso. It's going to be largely flexing the diaphragm area. And a lot of people are like, what's even a diaphragm? Well, we talked a little bit about that before, but also, well, how do you flex your diaphragm? You flex the muscles around your diaphragm, so that's the side of your abs themselves, and the upper obliques, which is directly under the diaphragm. The main focus there is that is the major way you're going to get compression out of your voice. For instance, once you find your voice, right, we talked about going from the gravelly vocal fry and the highest note. Once you get into the middle there, you find your metal voice. It's going to sound very flat and just kind of crispy, we'll say, until you're able to flex your diaphragm. That's what's going to give it that edge, that bite that you hear from some of your favorite vocalists. So, want to just put everything into practice. Firstly, I'm going to hold up number one. Number one is finding our voice. Number two is going to be adding compression. And then step three is going to be what we're going to talk about here in a second. So let's start with step one, finding our voice. So remember, we start with a vocal fry, we get comfortable with a vocal fry, we start holding different notes and trying to make it feel comfortable to speak like this. And then we go to our high note, ah, no matter how bad it sounds. Ugh. Anyway, then we try and make them meet, right? We do the yodel to make sure that we get our voice to break. We don't want it to crack, we want it to break. The difference being is where those two notes start to sound the same, where they start to merge. All right, so again, weird noises. Please don't be too mean. Okay, so we got our voice. Okay, so we found our voice. We made it crispy with flexing our diaphragm. And the third one was talking about emotion and control. You'll see a lot of metal and hard rock vocalists. You'll see their face, right? It'll look very powerful a lot of the times. That's not them pushing harder. It's not them trying to really blow out their throat. It has to deal with the amount of airflow, right? We talked about that in the basics. Airflow is key. Airflow and compression is the main thing that make the voice. We talked about compression with our support muscles and our diaphragm. The airflow comes largely from how you affect your face, which again is why we massage our face, we open it up, we make all sorts of weird faces, blah, 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 all that stuff. Okay, it gets everything moving. We don't want anything to be tight or tense, because that makes things just more difficult, right? It's the same thing any kind of athletic work you do, right? You stretch out before. Okay, it's to make things loose and limber and prevents injury. Singing is the same exact thing. Metal singing is even more so because you're doing something that your voice is not wanting to naturally do. Okay, so what I would say is like the peak emotion, right? You have like the mouth's wide open, the eyes are closed, it's all scrunched, right? Right? That is for our higher notes, right? You'll see that a lot with like the Chester Benningtons, R.I.P. But yeah, his scream was typically higher. He had a fantastic mid scream, but he could also do a fry scream very keenly, especially in the song Given Up. I think it was like 16 or 17 seconds long at the end of the bridge. Fantastic. We'll cover more about that type of scream in a separate video. Just want to focus on the concept of controlling the amount of airflow and applying emotion. More so a cautionary tale. Right, we talked about before that metal and hard rock is an extremely emotional genre. It's something that you can definitely, you feel it, right? It's not just poppy music that's meant to get stuck in your head and make money, right? It's something that's usually coming from a real, a period or some kind of feeling that is truly difficult or inspiring, whatever. A lot of times we see pain and anger coming out in this music, and it's important to use that. It's important to feel that, because that's what's going to make your voice more powerful and more effective, in a sense. So the thing to be wary about, though, is to know that using too much of it or really just going all out is going to hurt your voice. It's going to hurt your throat. It's going to make it hard to, properly learn and be able to practice. So the next time that you're going along with your favorite song and it's getting to the big epic moment, just remember, pull it back a little bit, right? Go through your basics. Make sure that you're breathing. Make sure that you're getting that calm voice, right? Our middle point between the vocal fry and the high note, right? We find that perfect little middle point where our voice breaks. Okay. Beyond that, we do want to have the airflow. So I'll do again where we just have the normal mid scream without our support muscles. Then we'll engage the support muscles. And then, like number 3, we're going to go back in and talk about levels. So we got okay. So yeah, all in one breath. Takes a lot to adjust levels. Definitely have to build up your lung capacity, right? Doing the deep breathing techniques we talked about in the basics. That's going to be a good starting point, building up your lung capacity. Though you don't necessarily have to have that much lung capacity unless you're really trying to beat Chester's record. That being said, airflow, like I've been saying, is really about your facial expression, right? Having just neutral phase, this is going to be basic mid-scream, right? It's going to be kind of cracky because you're not really doing too much. But opening your mouth more, having your throat like fully elongated, making sure that it's not getting like kinked or cracked in any way, is going to have it be a little bit crispier, a little bit spicier. Right? It's going to be a little bit more fried, we'll say. Okay? If you want to go higher, you open your you open your mouth more, you let more air escape at one time. Okay, it's going to be more like a cult or emo scream is what they're called. I was never particularly good at them, so I apologize if that wasn't as ideal as you'd like. I'm no Spencer Charnas or anything like that. Ice Nine Kills, by the way, fantastic. Look them up. And then we'll see a lot of heavier metal, death metal that are going to go for the lower roars, right? And that is more so you're opening your stomach, right? You want to breathe into your stomach rather than into your chest. You want to make sure it's like it's coming from your belly, right? It gives you that deeper sound. So the right, it's a lower roar. Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch is fantastical. Geez. Yeah, we'll keep it. Fantastical at doing low roars. He's just got that deep, gritty voice. You can push it even farther, like Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. It depends on the words you use, frankly, because it's kind of hard to get that deep. I've been able to figure it out with the song Circle the Drain by Wage War, also a fantastic band. So let's see. Will we fight closer, circle the drain? Right? On the second lyric, we get as deep as your voice can push, and man, I'm out of practice. But yeah, that's the idea with that. So, key takeaways: compression, airflow, emotion. Use the emotion, but don't let yourself get swept away with it. Airflow keeps to facial expression and where you put your breath, right? Where you're singing from. Sing from the belly when you're trying to go low. Let your voice kind of slow down, right? Right? You don't have to have too much air coming out of your mouth, but you want to have plenty of air coming up from your belly when you engage your support muscles. To go for the mid scream, you don't have to do too much. Just make sure there's plenty of airflow coming out without any restriction in your throat. And for the cult and emo scream, getting really up there, really open it up, right? Okay, that's the idea there. So let's see. I'll leave you off. I'm gonna try and beat Chester. We'll see. All right, you at home, go ahead and time it. We're looking for 16 to 17 seconds. Here we go. Kevin. Okay. Frankly, that didn't sound good to me, but I'm too lazy to edit. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Stay heavy.